I wanted to talk about a really, really urgent broadcast, what is going on in the world, and this is absolutely nuts. So, first of all, if you did not hear, you probably didn't right away because media was not covering it. Mexico has had a series of absolutely crazy protests. And I mean, I just watched live a few hours ago a police officer essentially being dragged away and being hit with, I believe they were wire cutters or it was bolt cutters or something. And they had these welded walls that were actually angled out, and I'll show you that here in a second, that were put up a few days ago, and those were actually breached. So this came after the Mexican government ended up setting this up because they knew they were going to have problems after a European mayor ended up getting taken out. In fact, it was the seventh mayor since President Scheinbaum has taken place. Now, this is absolutely crazy. I don't know if you guys remember my prediction about Scheinbaum going back all the way to when we were covering the Economist cover before anyone knew she was going to be the president. They had the shadow silhouette of her. Like, there's no mistaking the Economist cover a couple years ago that it was her, right? And I talked about it, and I believed that there was going to be huge unrest in Mexico. And of course, this only furthered when we ended up locking down our border like something else was going on. Now, you guys know most of my side theories on this, why we have the Golden Dome, or why we're creating the Golden Dome, why we're cleaning up World War II islands right now, why, China and the US are now essentially decoupling. If you don't believe that, go look at who the largest trading partner for the US is now. It's absolutely crazy. I did not even realize this. The US and China was the largest trading partner, but now Mexico is, which I thought was very, very interesting. Now I'm going to show you a small clip here. This is what's going on in Mexico. And for hours, it was just Al Jazeera and a few others that were covering this. Now we're finally seeing, about 4 or 5 hours later, I think Fox News and BBC are finally covering it. And this is only happening after you had, obviously it was all over Twitter, but you of course had a few multi-million viewer channels like Asmongold covering it and saying, hey, nobody is covering this. There were already articles basically, writing as he was putting that out saying, hey, Asmongold's the only one covering this. This is crazy. So obviously, somebody with that much pull and that many people watching live, they have to cover it. So you'll hear about this tomorrow, but the main point is I want to point out there's a lot of crazy things going on with our border, the way that they locked it down. And you guys know that I've been following this whole situation over the last 4 years where millions and millions came into our country. Many believe that there are not in uniform soldiers that are already in our country that came in along with the people that just wanted a better life. Now, mind you, a lot of people, they just wanted the American dream. But of course, we know, and there's evidence to show that there were 18 to 25-year-old military age male coming in giant groups, buzz cut hair, fatigues, and even possibly doing rituals that, CCP and other groups were doing right when they got over the border. We know that somehow magically they turned a blind eye to doing background checks until their court date. Remember even when they got caught, they were like, oh, well, hey, we're going to set a court date for you. Give us whatever name you want, and then we'll background check when you actually go to your court date, which is absolutely nuts. That came out later in a leak, which if you're starting to put two and two together, it's almost like somebody was on the payroll and letting this happen so they could get in. The people from certain countries, especially ones in the East that were coming through the Darien Gap and coming up through Mexico, there's a certain type of people that would be coming up that way, people that would not want their names on any list or that would not want to have a background check. Now, those background checks would have quickly seen, hey, this guy is former PLA. This guy is from the military. This guy is literally serving right now in the Chinese military. So why did so many of these folks come through? Muckraker actually got evidence that not only did they set it up for a lot of folks from the East, every stop along the way was not, dual languaged in Hispanic or Spanish. It was actually dual languaged in Chinese. So again, you guys can make the connections here. I'm going to show you a small clip here, and this is how I have to do it since we're doing it cell phone wise. But these are the walls. Now there's so much more. So the police, again, I saw one of them getting dragged off. So let me push play here. This is absolutely nuts. So you get the drift. You guys can go over to Twitter and see a lot of the actually, quite crazy videos over there. But one of the things I want to put my opinion out on this is 7 mayors in the short time that Sheinbaum has been president have been taken out. Now, this whole protest, they say, was Gen Z protesting against the government because the government is corrupt and that they are working with the cartels. Now, mind you, this whole thing, it seems like there's a lot of different operations going on in this scenario, but they are essentially, breaking through and breaching these things. If they would have just went in and taken out the president, imagine what could happen. Imagine if they continue this chaos down in Mexico, they fight against this, they say, oh, you guys are working with the cartels, and they end up taking out even more leaders. If we have Mexico without a leader, or if we have Mexico have a coup that is so bad that that country is taken over, that is absolutely a huge, huge danger to the United States. It doesn't matter how many extra Border Patrol agents we put there. If for some reason, if they are right and the president is directly working with the cartels, then all of these different doors start opening up about why we are doing what we're doing on the border, why we're going after certain things. I think it's more confirmation that this is not just about narco terror. This is not just about, fixing the parking lots in Walmart and the folks that are stuck there half bent over. I think that this is more confirmation and more evidence that Eastern countries are not only pulling strings in different countries, but are potentially doing regime changes that are potentially setting up for a massive, massive event. We're talking about a World War III, one of the first world wars where the United States actually does have to worry not only about people coming into our borders, into our coastlines, or possible tsunamis hitting our coasts, but also that there are soldiers already in the country. Now, if you want more verification of that, the president actually made a comment and said that they were essentially saying that not in uniform soldiers posed a domestic threat to the United States. That it's hard to spot them because they're wearing the same clothes as everybody else, right? This is very, very alarming. I don't know what the hell is going on in Mexico, but I knew when Sheinbaum got put in that something was getting worked on. Everything from South Korea and North Korea, the South Korean president declaring martial law, stating that the Chinese government had infiltrated his government, declaring martial law in the entire country of South Korea, and then magically 8 hours later, he is humiliated. They say he's crazy and that he's basically impeached within a couple weeks. He has a huge group of followers over there that believe him and that actually agree with him that that country has infiltration at the highest levels from China. Why this matters and why this is of course connected to what's going on in Mexico, you have multiple countries right now that for the first time, it's not the US pulling strings for oil wars, this is China pulling strings. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I believe we are very, very close to the precipice of a lifetime. So I hope that you guys share this out. I hope that people understand there's a lot of extra information that goes into this. I couldn't go over it in a 2-hour show, but I hope that you guys end up, talking about this Mexico story and just with everything you've learned from this show, tell your friends and family members that they should have a basic plan just in case something goes down. There's a reason why we are locking the border down. There's a reason why, the Asian communities have had that certain 3-letter agency going after specifically them with Hyundai raids and Chinatown raids and all of these. And they've actually gone after the Asian community 9 times what they did last year. I wonder, all of the big raids that we've been hearing about, with the exception of maybe like a preschool teacher here or something there, have been in the Asian community. Why is that? Why do you think that is? And, I'm not trying to throw shade at any certain people. Really, again, any people across the planet, whether they be Russian, North Korean, whether they be Chinese or any of our adversaries, those people are not the problem. Their government is the problem. And again, these are good people that are under a bad government. It's happened many, many times before. Many people believe that we had a bad government, that we have been infiltrated, and that something is massively wrong. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Please share this out. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Thank you for the super. I appreciate